So I wanted to take these toy-like looking trolley cars and make them look a little more realistic and add some details. So here's how I did it. As inspiration, I'm using this photo that my Russian friend Ilya Nefedov had posted on Facebook. As you can see here, I am putting my first coat of, I think it's called Deep Forest Green. I'm using the Rust-Oleum camouflage because I like that deep dark color of green, and then I'll probably use like a burgundy trim on these. Maybe the two that are, you see the red on, those two, I will probably put a burgundy trim on those, and this I might give it a different color trim so that it appears like it's a different line of trolley when it's on my layout. Okay, now for a coat of rattle can on the top. I don't have an airbrush, but this works for me, and I've always tried to make the most out of what I have available to myself. And now the nozzle's clogged. I found it beneficial to get extra nozzles, because sometimes when you don't use your rattle cans regular enough, they can sometimes get clogged. So we'll let those dry and see if they need any touch up, and then I'll start adding my trim colors. They said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And whoops, there we go. This is the trailer trolley, and let me take the cover off to show you what I did with this. So this is my shell, and I repainted it. You can kind of see the people inside there. And then come up over on this side and got this side painted. I almost wish I could take some of that 020 wire and maybe even make some handrails. Like if I carve that off and then put wire railings on there. But anyway, over here in this space, I created little gates somewhere here with all the other pieces I got working on here. I can't find the gate. Oh, there it is. There's my tiny gate that needs to be trimmed and mounted right there. And then I have some people. Probably I'm going to have this guy as like a conductor or whatever on the trolley. Probably have him standing right there for when it drives around. But let me show you what I did here with the chassis. This is the trailer chassis. It's got some weight to it now. It's not as heavy as the motorized trolley, but it's got more than it started out with. When it was just this, it was just too light back here, and it would bounce through switches and crossings. So I wanted to add some weight. So here's how I did it. Those are old pieces of brass railing. I cut them down, and this section right here fits down in the bottom. There's a little pin in there, so it won't come all the way out to here. This fits on top of that, and it slides in, drops right in place. Now because of this, it was kind of blocking the red lens on the back. So and the light bulb was just kind of like dangling loose inside here. So what I did is I made this channel out of square styrene, same square styrene that I weighted with old pieces of brass railing, cut channels to allow light to come through, and the bulb slides into there, and this drops right into place like that. The only issue, that thing that bothers me about it is this is so white, it kind of stands out against the interior. It glows too much. So I'm going to paint this all black. Oh, and the lens here drops down to almost the same height as, let me get my pointer. The lens here drops down to this level about right here. So I took some smaller square tubing to deflect the light down. I've got light coming out of this opening right here to go down to that trolley lens, that red lens, to help that glow. So I'm going to take and paint all the white on here, paint all this black, so light will come up out of here, and the white will stay on the inside to reflect. But I'm going to paint everything else black so it just kind of blends in with everything on the inside of the trolley car. So we're back, and you can see I got this painted all black to kind of subdue the light so it doesn't just glow and everywhere. You know, I don't want it to be a super bright interior in one little spot. Drop that in place there. Let's take a look at it just now with just that. So we still have some light bleeding out of the side here, but I can put another coat of paint on that. Looks like some light is coming down from underneath here too. So let's using an old piece of brass track. I don't think the electricity travels through it as well. It's got some paint on it and little tarnished. So let's put the shell on it. Let me do this. Let me turn it off. I'll drop the shell on here. Alright. Got that on. Alright, back in place. Now let's see what it looks like. Well, it's definitely toned down the lighting. In the daytime you'd probably never see it. We can still see the glow here. There's light coming out of the top, but I'm happy with that. Next part is going to be working on the powered locomotive, and this is the powered locomotive here, and as you can see it's just taken off. Thinking about that glow going on right there off the weight, I might paint the surface of that weight black, so that when this goes on there, it's not too overpowering there either, light wise. See what it looks like here. It's forward, no, that's backwards, this is forward. So I'm okay with that. Everything's moving really nice. That goes there. This is a trolley trailer, actually. It fits on behind it. And I have to put a little connecting rod in there to connect the two of them. And they're both running. They're both lit up. That one's not connecting too well. In fact, probably dirty back there. I think I've done just about everything I can with this powered trolley. I did not have a little connector between the two, so using styrene, I fabricated a piece. It clips into there, and then this hooks on the bottom like so. Now, why the trailer trolley sits lower than the powered one, I'm not exactly sure, but I think I've got this all ready and we'll be able to take it out onto the track, run it on a test run. But before I take that out, I need to take this unit here. I got to do a little repair work on the chassis for it, and I did have to replace a broken piece right here in the window. That piece was missing, so I put a new piece of styrene in there, glued it in place, and painted it. You can kind of see it in that spot right there. I'm going to take a razor blade and clean some of the glue boogers on there, and then give it another coat of paint. My friend Ron always tells me I've got enough projects. He must know something I don't, and that is, you buy something used and you think that, oh, I can fix that, and you only see the obvious, and there's a lot of other things inside or unseen that you discover later. Now, these two trolley sets, this trolley car and this trolley car with trolley trailer, these were actually running when I got them, but they did have a couple little problems. This one ran fine. I just didn't like the color. It looked too much like a toy, and I decided to repaint it. I painted both of them, both sets green, and then this one I used a burnt orange for highlighting. So this also had up here, it had a broken piece of the window here, the window frame. So using a piece of styrene, I refabricated that and put that in there. The glass was all that was on here was all dirty and scratched up, so I put new glass on the side windows and new glass on the front and the back. But I didn't have any glass for here. Actually, I think only the sides had glass. There was no glass on each end or on the doors. I might go back later and add to the door, but for now, I'm leaving it the way it is. This is the front. I decided to add a trolley driver. You can see him inside there. I built this little platform, and you can't really see him too well, but he's inside there, full size. In the back here, if the light will show it and the camera can focus in on it, I've got a woman on this side and a man on this side here. I really like how this turned out. It didn't have any lights on it. I might drill that out, put a clear light in front, and put a red light in the back. I do have some red flashing LEDs, which I think would look really cool with a red LED flashing on the back of that. So let me pull these forward and then bring this in. So this was a trolley set, powered trolley and trailer set. Again, I didn't like the plasticky, the toy-like appearance of it. The glass, I cleaned up and reused that on there. I used some burnt umber and some brown oxide on the bottom of the frame around the wheels. The other side is what I really want to show you is did some looking at trolley cars, and they have these gates here. It's kind of hard to hold two of these with one hand and then get the camera to focus. There we go. So I made these trolley gates there and there. And this one, you got the guy looking out the back as the trolley's pulling away. This guy is just looking off the side. So I wanted to, you did that to add a little extra detail. As you saw earlier when I was working on these, I tried to build a coupler thing here. And I found that this was sitting higher than this, and I didn't quite understand why. But when I took this for a test ride on the track, I noticed at a crossing where the track crossed that the trolley cars would stall in the middle, and then momentum would carry them across the crossing, and then they'd pick up power again. So I thought to myself, I will, knowing that this has a light in it and these have electric pickups here, I'd run wires from here into here, connect these pickup wires to the pickup wires over here, so that I'd have a longer span of electrical connection and it would get across the crossing better. And in the end, it worked out. You'll see on the track that it just runs really smooth. But there's a few things I discovered when I took this apart to do the electrical connections. The motor is not the original motor I figured out. It is actually just got a blue wire holding it in place. It's kind of like tied in place. It works, but it doesn't seem to be the original motor. And they might have taken the old worm gear off the old motor and put the old worm gear on the new motor to make it run. So when I discovered all that, I found the chassis was put together incorrectly. There's two pieces to this, and the lower part of the trolley frame, which is connected to the chassis. So when I corrected the connection between the two halves of the chassis, now these are both the same size. So I thought I would try and make the link of plastic in there, even though I had the wire there. Well, it ends up I was wrestling so much with it that I decided I'm just going to let the wires be the connection. It gives it nice flexibility here, and it runs just so perfect. The holes I drilled there and on the bottom edge there are just the right size that the insulation grabs both shells. So it's a nice strong connection. And when it runs on the track, it runs really nice. And I mentioned how I added the wire because of the electrical connection here. The odd thing is this trolley goes across that same crossing without a problem. So I failed to double check in there that maybe this has has electrical connections to both pairs of wheels, this pair and this pair, while maybe this only has electrical connections to one pair of wheels, either just the front or just the rear. But where they come up inside, these two black wires run parallel on the outside, come together here, come back in, run parallel on the outside, and they connect to the pickups. So we will get these out on the track, and I am going to be really excited to show you how these trolleys turned out. And what's even great about getting these trolley cars done is that I'm taking a break from working on locomotives of any sort. and I am going to be working on my city now with the movie theater. I need to finish the movie theater. I've got 4 buildings in the works already. Plus I have a couple more kits that I've dug out that I'm gonna put into the city. So I'm gonna take a break from working on all this electrical stuff and do some more creative stuff on the building and structure side.